This is entrepreneurial writer Michael Luchies. Today I want to talk to you about how much you can earn as a freelance writer. Now, obviously, it's going to be flexible. Freelance writers usually work on their own schedule. They're not working with a company, so what they earn depends on what they're able to bring in. But let's dive in. So let's look at the average salary for a freelance writer. Now, there are different opinions on this. There are different stats, and everywhere seems to give a different average salary. Now, I'm also going to share with you my averages over the last 5 years as well on the next slide. But let's dive into this. So on Google, a few of the different sources give ranges from $16,000 to $91,000 per year, $37,000 to $71,000, $20,000 to $150,000. It's way all over the place. That's what you'll find if you do just a basic Google search. And according to Indeed.com, the average American freelance writer earns around $25.34 an hour. According to ZipRecruiter, this also shows a wide range, all the way up to 150,000. Shows that the average freelance writer makes around $63,213. Now let's look at my average salary, and then we're also going to look at tips to help you exceed the average salary of a freelance writer. All right, so this is how much I make as a freelance writer. To quickly give you my background, I do have experience in entrepreneurship, which helped me get off the ground running right from the start. I've been on my own since 2014. These are numbers over the past 5 years, which have been unpredictable, but that's kind of how you're going to find life as a freelancer. Sometimes it can be unpredictable. Over time, you can lower the unpredictability of your business. And basically, you are running your own business as a freelance writer. So my average over the past 5 years has been over $71,000 with a high of just over 100,000. And this is revenue earned overall, so before expenses. And then a low of 41,000. So as you can tell, there's huge variance there. There's a huge jump. I try to base my projections and expenses around my average, but you need to plan for some rough times too, because your revenue might vary. In this case, almost $60,000 within a 5-year span. Now let's look at how you can exceed maybe even my average and the average that a freelance writer in the US makes. So here are some tips, some things that I've used and some things that I haven't done well enough. So the first tip is to set a minimum rate that you won't go under. And this is really important. One way to do it is just figure out what you would want to earn in a year and then divide that by maybe 20 hours a week, and then figure out what that hourly rate is. The reason I say 20 hours a week is because you're usually not going to have 40 hours of work a week that you can bill clients for. Some weeks you will, sometimes you won't. Sometimes you might work 40 hours to only bill 20 hours. So I try to base it around that. So take the total amount. If you want to make $50,000 a year, divide that down by 52 weeks, and then divide that by 20 for hours to figure out how much you want. I'm just doing this off of the top of my head, so sorry if I'm off here. But that should give you your minimum rate that you want to earn, and I would even go for the higher end of that as well. Find where what you love doing meets what you're really good at, because you might be really good at something that people will pay you for that you don't enjoy. Try to find a balance there, and this is referring to your niche, what you're going to specialize in as a writer. Now, I do blog posts, I do social media content. My favorite things to do are creating business names. I provide that service on Fiverr. People pay me for that on there. And then blog posts. So I try to specialize on those. And those are what I'm good at and what I really enjoy doing. Build your brand. Make sure you're spending some time each week building your personal brand. I haven't done that enough. I've relied on my past work and my network, and I haven't built up my brand outside of that network enough. So make sure you're doing that. Keep your social media profiles up. Make sure you're posting regularly. Spend some time on that. It will pay off. Find ways to utilize specialists. This is another area I've really failed in. At certain times, I've had other freelancers be part of my team. I've had part-timers. I've had someone spending almost 20 hours of work a week working with me, but that relationship didn't work out. It was very hard for me to find the time to train them. Find people you can pay to do some of the tasks you're not good at or are time-consuming tasks. Because if you're worth, $40 an hour, it might be worth paying somebody $20 an hour to do some of, the behind-the-scenes work of your business. Help take that off your plate so you can do more of that high-earning work. It is really important to figure that out over time. You don't need to do that right away. Network with others and build strong relationships. This is where some of your referrals are going to do. This is something I've done well. I've been able to create strong relationships with clients where even after they're done working with me, they might refer somebody else to me. It's really important to treat every client like your best client. Work really hard on those relationships, and you can even ask some of those people in your network after you've built up a good relationship, hey, do you know anyone that might be able to use me? Just that question has landed me several clients that over time, have gotten me over $50,000, $60,000 worth of revenue just from that simple question. So ask people for what you want and what you need. This applies even to your Facebook network. You don't want to keep asking them questions, asking them for things, but you want to tell them what you're up to and what you're looking for. Ask them if they might know anybody that can help you or anybody that needs you, kind of like I mentioned, asking that question to your network. Explore sources of recurring revenue. This video's on a YouTube channel. We do earn some recurring revenue from it. It's not my only recurring revenue stream. I also teach courses on Skillshare.com and have a couple other small sources as well. But look at some of those recurring revenue sources. In weeks where you maybe don't have a lot of paid client work, work on some of your recurring revenue sources. You can also look at Medium.com or other places where you can blog for pay over time based on how many views you get. Don't expect a lot there, but still, it can be, it can be a source of revenue that can really help you, especially in those months where you're struggling to find client work. And then keep learning and raise your rates when you get busy. These are really two separate points, but keep learning, take courses, learn new skills, improve on your skills, give yourself time each week to do that. And raise your rates when you get busy. When you're getting really busy, that means you're in demand, you're doing a good job. Find ways to raise your rates. If you feel too guilty raising rates for your current clients, which you shouldn't, then focus on only bringing in new clients if they pay that increased rate. So I hope this has been helpful. Please feel free to ask me questions. But yeah, this video has really explored the average income that you can expect as a freelance writer. Good luck getting started, and ask me questions below. Thanks.